to this month's episode of Cronin's Corner. I am so happy and excited to be joined today by two very special guests, Alix Turner from Lancaster and Deb Goodsell from the town of Clinton. This month we wanted to focus on some of the issues that are facing our seniors and how our senior centers have responded to serve our community and really the population that has been hit hardest by the COVID-19 pandemic, our seniors. We know not only has the virus hit them the hardest in terms of what COVID does to older citizens and its pronounced effects, but also the isolation that it caused to our seniors and specifically the stress it put our senior centers and those people that serve our seniors under for the past going on 20 months now. So Deb Goodsell, Alix Turner, thank you so much for joining us today. And can we start by just, Deb, can we start with you? Can you talk about your involvement with the Senior Center and how you came to this work in Clinton?
Sure. Basically, but prior to being at the Clinton Senior Center, I was in hospice care. So then this position came available. I've been in the director's position for the last 7 years. So it's been great. We've gone from our former storefront center to our beautiful Victorian mansion now. So that's been wonderful over the last 7 years. And just to elaborate a little bit on what you said about COVID and our seniors, we are very proud that we have over 99% of our Clinton seniors have been vaccinated, fully vaccinated.
That's a remarkable stat.
So we had a partnership with UMass Medical, Dr. John Broach, and they came to town and we were able to vaccinate not only our seniors but our homebound as well. So that's been great for our town, and it just gives you a sense of accomplishment that, if they are to get sick, hopefully it wouldn't be as bad as it could have been.
Can you talk about the Senior Center in your home, specifically in Clinton? You mentioned that it's a Victorian mansion, but to me it's really the crown jewel on the town square there, and it's a remarkable space and facility. Can you talk about how that kind of became home for the center?
Absolutely. So the Clinton Senior Center was formerly a private residence for John Foster and his family, and after that it was Mr. Burbank and Dr. Bowers. And after that, Dr. Bowers, they made it into a foundation for sick, indigent, or elderly. And the Clinton Home Foundation ran it for years as not a nursing home, but a rest home for seniors. The town was gifted the center from the Clinton Home Foundation to be used for our senior center. So it has gone.
And what year was that? That was relatively recently?
When it was gifted to the town?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess at 2000 and maybe 10.
Gotcha.
2010.
Yep.
I came in 2014, and they had already been doing all the construction and renovations on it.
And it's a lot of work to preserve, too. I know that we have worked together, and Representative Kilcoyne and I are both invested in making sure we've got the resources for the Senior Center to...
It's the perfect location.
Yeah.
It's between two of our senior housings. It's across the street from the park, so our seniors can enjoy the park, they can enjoy the porch, they can enjoy it walking to the center. We just had some new sidewalks put in outside, so you can come right up to the center. You can go over to the town hall, you can go over to the library. We have an assisted living on the other side of the park. Right. They can walk over to the center. So just having it centrally located and to be such a showpiece. I mean, the inside, if you've never been, you should, you have been, but if anyone hasn't been, just come walk in. There's, it's all hand-carved mahogany. It's all tiled floors. You've got the painted ceilings. It's beautiful. And it works well because you have small rooms. So you can have numerous activities at one time. So if we have a caregiver support group in the library, we can still have an art class in the dining room. We can still have coffee chat in the lobby. We can have.
And you guys,
everything.
You're on the ones and twos. You've got all this stuff going on simultaneously every day, too,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a really vibrant space and an incredible.
And it's cozy and homey.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a classroom. It's like being in your living room.
Right.
It's a very warm feeling.
Very good. And so we're also joined today by Alix Turner. Alix, I asked you right before we went on the air, what is your actual title? Because you wear so many different hats, right? You're a select board member in the town of Lancaster. You're a volunteer extraordinaire. You're the executive director of the community center in Lancaster, which serves seniors, veterans, everybody in the town of Lancaster. Can you just talk about kind of the scope of your involvement in town and how you came to the position you're in right now?
A long, circuitous
And
route.
we only have 25 minutes. Yeah.
It's a long, circuitous route, but yeah, thanks, John. It's not just you. I mean, people to this day in town try to figure it out and stumble over it. So it's funny, like Deb, I came to a building that is what we call an adaptive reuse. So it was an old school that was, when they built the new school, they left the school and it was sitting fallow for many years. And a group of volunteers got together and formed what they call the Lancaster Community Center. And like many towns, we have such a shortage of good space and not enough money to fill it. So volunteers got together and redid this school with help from Department of Corrections, from just people and everything else. And we ended up, I will say it was sort of a paint and new rugs kind of reuse. So we, unlike Deb, when I know sometimes you struggle with the large events, we sometimes struggle with the smaller events because we have these big rooms. And it's so funny to me that seniors come in full circle and either their kids went to school there and there's all these sweet memories of being through there, or they went to school there. And sometimes they'll come in for activities and they'll be sitting with, talk about small towns, they'll be sitting with their former teacher and themselves and talking about, how their kids or grandkids went to school. So we're in an old school. It is not carbon mahogany. But it has a real lot of potential. So I had been a selectman for 9 years. And then I was off the board and lived in Lancaster with my husband after growing up in Bolton. So I was aware of Lancaster, and it was always kind of a thriving little hub. And we have this gorgeous town green, which is, we share with National Historic Landmarks and so on. Our building.
And the library's right there.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. It's like you, I love walkable centers.
Yeah.
And it's built right in the center of town. So it's a perfect location. It needs and could use, and we hope to try to adapt the use a little more, because senior centers around your district, our district, and around the state are really, there's some architectural marvels, they're really, really great. So working with the adaptive reuse, we have to get a little extra creative about it. And I don't know about you, I think you have, and we have tried to program around it. So we started off, shortly after I came 10 years ago, we became a community center, which is an all-ages center. And at the time, I remember people from Executive Office of Elder Affairs saying to me, "Whoa, this isn't good. What do you mean, kids?" And they said, because seniors are constantly, even though in most towns in Lancaster, that over a quarter of the population is seniors. Same in Clinton, yeah. They got the small minority of the services. Right. And that is still true as far as funding goes. And they were afraid that if we did a community center, that disparity would just increase.
Wow.
Right, yes, exactly. But in fact, I found that a lot of the intergenerational programming has worked really well. And because we had this big building, for example, we have a gym upstairs, or I should say the Cafe Gymatorium. It has old tables that used to come down for lunch that roll out, and but a basketball court and a stage and everything that they did everything. And so now for example, we were the first ones in the region, in the area, that did pickleball. And that we have a thriving. It grew so much that now we've sent over to St. John's Gym in Clinton, and we do it wide. And so we opened as a community center with all ages. Seniors, because they don't go to school, they don't have the other things, it's still the emphasis. Right. And veteran services.
I know, so a great friend of the show, Rick Futur, is there.
Awesome.
And is he there 2 days a week in Lancaster?
No,
or just the one?
He's there one, on Tuesdays, which hopefully you will be. I guess
Absolutely.
We'll see you Tuesday.
Absolutely.
So and he does a great job and serves veterans of the region. And many of the times the veterans who need it most are those who are aging, because with aging comes issues that we can all help with.
And co-locating services, right? So
Yes.
We talked about it a little bit before, Deb, but a senior center is not just a place where people can go and drink coffee and play bingo, right? I mean, it's truly a catch-all for for all the services, healthcare, transportation, housing, food insecurity, medical referrals that seniors need. Can you talk about just the scope, how expansive the scope of your services are in Clinton, and the team that you've assembled and lead to serve the seniors in Clinton?
Sure. So basically, we're a town department, so we service our seniors in our town in many different ways, but not just our seniors. We service our caregivers as well. Part of that is an example. We just had a call yesterday. A woman senior needs dialysis 3 days a week. So her daughter would have to go to work late and leave work early in order to take her mother to this.
Right.
We're able to provide transportation so that her daughter doesn't have to miss work. We can take her, we can bring her home. So transportation is huge, whether it's going to your friend's house, going to the grocery store, going to your doctor's appointments, going to the hairdresser.
Can we just stop right there? Can
Yeah.
you talk about that relationship with the WRTA, right? And,
Yeah.
and I know it exists with MART here in
Correct.
Fitchburg and Leominster too, but
Yeah.
a remarkable service that I think a lot of people don't know about
Right.
for medical appointments.
Right. So right now we have 2 vans running each day to different locations, and it's a free service right now for seniors. Back when they charged, it was $4 round trip to Worcester, so
Right.
it's very cost effective. And like I said, it's got the handicap lift. It's very user friendly. Our drivers are wonderful, and like I said, we drop you off, we pick you up. And it takes away, not only does it take away from your caregivers' duties and responsibilities, but it also provides you with independence as a senior. You don't have to count on your family to take you. You've got this, you can do this yourself. We were able to get a grant also from the Mass DOT, and we contracted with Clinton Livery, and we can also provide transportation for when we can't go. So if our van's already full, and we can't take you to your doctor's appointment, we can have the livery take you. Or if it's after hours, if it's after a time our vans are off the road or a day we don't go to that town, the livery can take you. So that was huge. We've also have requested to get a van, to acquire a van with the ARPA funds from our town. So hopefully we'll be able to do that going forward. So when the grant runs out, we can still provide this service for our seniors.
And it's such a lifeline too.
Oh, absolutely.
I think what everybody wants is for seniors to be able to age in place. And
Yep.
so again, to be able to deliver that independence and transportation to appointments
And
is
along with
so
that
critical.
is the food, because you've got Meals on Wheels. So not only are you delivering a hot meal each day to the homebound seniors, that we have about 40 that we deliver each day, that it's also a wellness check. So you're at work, you know that somebody's bringing your mother or father, aunt or uncle a meal.
Lunch or dinner, right.
And somebody's checking on them, because if they don't answer the door, we'll call you or we call the police, and it's a wellness check. So that's another way we can help, not only help the seniors with the food, but help the caregivers by providing that extra added wellness check for the seniors too. Along with all of that, we still have all the programs with outreach, where you have your SNAP benefits, you have your fuel assistance, you have your housing applications, you have scams if there's something's going on
There's
with that.
a new scam or
Every day.
every day,
Yeah,
right?
or several. Yeah.
And I know the district attorney has been really good about trying to
yeah.
get information out to build awareness to seniors for as those scams come
and
up.
they're so creative. I
Right.
mean, some of these, I look and think, I send it to my IT guy and say, is this
Well, for
legit
me,
or no?
right? Yeah, right.
It's something. So you've got all that, bereavement support groups, caregiver support groups, memory cafes, all of that social service type of stuff. Then you also have your programs. You've got your Zumbas, your exercise, your Tai Chi, your bingo, Mahjong, art class, cake decorating. Come on, Alix.
I've been in the pancake breakfast in Lancaster
Yes.
too. That's a pretty good program.
Oh, yeah.
It
Keeps me coming
is.
back.
It
No,
is.
absolutely.
Yeah, there's so much, like I said, they can be busy every day with
Yes,
everything that
yes.
goes on at the centers. And they do center jump as well. I mean, you
Oh,
get a
sure.
lot from Clinton that go to Lancaster, a lot from Lancaster to Clinton, some go to Bolton,
Right.
Whichever center offers, so they can go to each one.
Can you both talk about some of the challenges specifically our seniors faced during COVID and the pandemic, and how you guys really stepped up and changed your programming, your services, and your outreach to get at some of the isolation and just loneliness that afflicted so many of our older population?
Well, the good thing with our Central Mass directors is we have our support group that meets, and during COVID, we met online through Zoom. So all the directors in this area all met on a regular basis, more so than ever. And we would share ideas, because we would have drive-throughs. We would have Zoom bingo, bingo.io. We all joined on and started doing bingo through Zoom. People donated gift cards so that we could have bingo prizes. We mailed them the bingo prizes.
And a lot of the seniors were able to adapt too,
Oh,
right?
yes.
To get on Zoom and to be able to
Oh, yeah.
participate, using that technology.
Yeah, they would do the exercise through Zoom. They would do bingo through Zoom.
We had a great program. We hit Zoom back in March, which we were sort of early adopters. In fact, it's funny, we hit it before the other towns adopted to it. But one of the things that we found was that most seniors still have enough neuroplasticity to adopt this new technology. And what bothers me about when I think of a senior center is a lot of people think of seniors as what you talked about, like just playing bingo and handmade Afghans, sitting around a table. Seniors are so much more than that. And we were concerned because when we first recognized COVID, they said seniors are those that are most vulnerable. And it's still this case because
Absolutely.
you're so the social isolation that we knew. I mean, the walls came down on us first. And Deb, you brought a pamphlet early, and most of the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, who helps fund us, was all about getting people out of the house, keep people aging in place, but preventing loneliness, because it's been shown to be so detrimental.
It's devastating to physical health too, right?
And mental. Both of those. We're getting that. So when we talked about Zoom, I found it really remarkable because there's so many stereotypes we were bashing. Some of the meetings, they had trouble. They adapted to Zoom bingo and everything else.
Bingo
We did
players were the first. They were the first to get on bingo.
And they tend to be the oldest and the most stereotypical.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, and
resourceful. They would have neighbors
travelogues.
come over and sign them in. They were resourceful getting onto bingo.
Oh gosh, yeah. We learned a lot about the mute button.
Yeah.
We're still learning about the
figuring out
button
things
too.
to do.
Yeah, we had this great program that we developed, and I liked it because we do share, as Deb says. We have essentially mutual aid. People will select, because we can't do everything. She can't offer pickleball in house because she doesn't have a gym, but you have great things like the food pantry. So we had Neshoba Rotary. We partnered with, and we bought tablets, Amazon Fire tablets. We bought those because you could talk to them and they were consistent. And we have some great people who volunteered their time who are IT professionals with Neshoba Rotary, and we gave them a tablet. We taught them how to use it.
Bridge that digital divide,
Right.
Yeah.
And we had free software that allowed us to log in. So if somebody get frustrated, because how many people, I went through it with my parents when they were still alive, the remote would be, I'd be having to drive over to their house at midnight to make sure they could fix the remote, right?
Yep.
So we were concerned about that with the technology adaptation, but through this cooperative event, no cost to people.
We had the Clinton Rotary do the same thing, donated Amazon tablets to us, and Worcester State University as well.
And it got and this program got copied by everybody, and it got used, and it was really excellent, and to this day it uses it. And thanks to the legislature and the governor, Comcast is our provider, and Comcast Essentials is available. Many people don't know that. People couldn't afford cable or didn't have internet, and it was available for, at the time, $10 a month. And we got people signed up and got that installed, which was, even that was difficult because they didn't want people in their house. They didn't know how to go through the paperwork.
But you guys were
and
fast
online.
too, right? I
have
mean, you
to
adapted
be
and
resilient.
innovated really, really
Regardless,
fast.
we can't close.
Right.
Because we're offering these services for these seniors. We're their resource. They call us for the phone number for the police station. I mean, they call us for everything.
Town hall closed, and we never closed one day. It was just, in fact, the reverse. I mean, we
more.
Busy, right? Yeah.
We had 100 angels come forward who I can't say enough about our teachers, which you probably did too, because they were teachers who were out of work and students. And we dubbed them our angels, and we partnered them with a senior who had to remain in the house. And these are people who maybe would have gone to Hannaford's or Shaw's or Market Basket or something like that. But they were terrified because that trip could be
That's where you
deadly.
get sick.
Could be
Right.
deadly.
No, absolutely.
And when
So
you
these
think back,
angels would
it
take
was
them to pick
scary.
up medicine. They would
Yeah.
take them to this. And I know you say think back, but most people don't realize that it's still such a threat. As many people have died this year as last year. It's just
And there was
amazing.
there was no
So
playbook
they
for
help
how to
them.
respond
No.
to, right?
No,
so
we
I
have to
mean,
get creative.
you're on your feet, you're on your toes, you're innovating. And Deb, you brought up 99% of seniors
Yep.
in Clinton are now vaccinated.
Correct.
So
And we've
the
actually
senior
just had a
center was at the
booster.
nexus of that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, developing, innovating, doing the outreach, doing the education. Sponsoring the clinics. Can you just talk about how do you get to 99%? Because I think there's a lot of communities who haven't been able to have the success that you have.
We were blessed for UMass because UMass had reached out to us and said, we want to partner with you. And we were like, let's do it. So we got on the phone and we started with our 99-year-olds and started calling, do you want a vaccine? Do you want a vaccine? Because this was at the time period where people were having to go to Gillette Stadium.
Right.
And our 99-year-olds down were just like,
I've been to my last Patriots game.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So we called everybody from the oldest, working our way down because we didn't want to be inundated with calls either. And then we booked them all, got them going. God bless you.
Excuse me.
And then we ended up, like I said, calling everybody, them getting the word out. We had numerous clinics going on, which was fabulous. And then, like I said, Dr. Broach from UMass reached out to our fire chief and said, listen, I'll get you guys all set up that I'll have a team member go with your firefighters to the homes and get all the homebound done. So that was fabulous.
And I think a part of that success is your solution was relying on that lolocal trust, right? I mean, the people who were calling the seniors were you and people who they have a relationship
Right.
with, that they trusted.
We had one of our 99-year-olds was at the town hall getting their vaccine. She goes, last time I got a vaccine here was my polio. And I'm like, really?
in the
Yeah.
40s, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's too funny.
And they had a ball seeing each other because they hadn't been, closed off for a while. So there was like 3 99-year-olds that were like, oh, Mary, they just, they were 6 feet apart wearing their masks, but it was nice for them to be able to see each other.
Absolutely.
So
We had a little different approach, same issue, and fortunately our seniors have a very high vaccination rate. Our town, sadly, is, in my
Still work to
opinion,
do. Right.
we're just a little over 50%. But the seniors did, and one of the things that we did, because the clinics, kudos to you, because I think the local clinics, Sterling did a local clinic where they drove through all their
drive-through.
seniors.
Yeah.
I thought they did a great job. And so we looked to better models from different towns, Clinton or Sterling or something. We had these angels. We had trainings, online trainings, and we learned the ins and outs. You had to go on. It was like Hunger Games. I mean, you had to go online at 3 o'clock in the morning
Yes.
to the CVS website
and we
pretend.
were doing that.
Oh, we did. Yeah, we did.
Refresh.
Well, and
Right,
pretend
yeah.
you were from a different state,
Yeah.
and then log into our state and everything else. And we had the fans. We did the tailgating down at
Yeah.
Gillette. We were sending people to Gillette. We went and blessed our volunteers and drivers because we went Saturdays and whenever you could get an appointment.
Right.
But now the great news is that with local pharmacies and so on, the boosters, which seniors are now eligible for because they got them earlier, are available.
And
So
what's
it's
the plan to
encouraging
roll
them.
out boosters? Are the senior
Oh,
centers
they're already
being
rolled out.
Yeah.
They're already rolled out. We already had a booster clinic in Clinton. We had, I think it was like 120. Or we had, I think it was like 80 seniors came to the town hall and we had 22 homebound done. But it's available at Rite Aid, CVS,
readily
Walgreens, all
available.
of them, readily
Yeah.
available. Rite Aid has walk-ins from, I think it's 10 to 1. So you can just go in
Right.
and get your booster. The others you have to go online, but at the senior centers, if they don't have a computer or they're not comfortable, we'll register them online and get them their appointment for
And
them.
here in the Fitchburg-Leominster area, that's true also, because people come out to CVS and
Yep.
Walgreens and all the others and get them. So it's much better. Flu shots, people forget that there's still, because so many people think only COVID, but we're still dealing with
Flu season.
We're still dealing with the seasonal flu, and we're still dealing. One of the things, the sad part of COVID is that people did not follow up on routine care. And so we've seen a decline in health in people that I didn't expect to see. And mental health that we've touched on a couple of times.
Absolutely.
That's
But as we kind of move away from the pandemic,
Yeah.
and especially I've been to both Lancaster and Clinton, and as you return to normal operations, what are you most optimistic about, and what are you most looking forward to at the centers?
We've basically have gone back to normal. So like today, perfect example. When I left the center this morning, we had our veterans breakfast going on. So that was going on. The volunteers were in the kitchen. Our receptionist was given a tour to a new senior who had never been there before. Like I said, Marjan this afternoon. I love I had 4 kids, and I love the house being chaotic.
It's buzzing.
I
right?
love it. I love it when, you get Spanish in one room, you got the caregivers in one room, you got the art class in one room, you got everybody all throughout the building, and it's noisy, it's fun, it's active, I thrive on that.
I look forward to, we have gone back with modifications. So of course, in Lancaster we have a mask mandate, so masks are there, and we've had to try to work that out with some of our fitness classes. For example, yesterday the Board of Health allowed people to drop their masks while playing pickleball, with some strict provisions. So, like you, getting people back together. The best part of a senior center itself is reducing the social isolation, seeing each other. It's funny, the state, and when I'm talking to, I'm thinking to make sure it's not just about senior centers, because senior centers go well beyond that. We've had people who have formed new old friends, and some of those friendships I think are the best, and so they'll get together outside. We do things, and now that we're using public transportation, we use MART too. I sit on the board there. We're doing things like we do wine and dine clubs where seniors who like to go out at night but might not want to drive go out and have a nice glass of wine, get picked up, get dropped off. They go there. Don't laugh.
How old do I need to be eligible for that program? You'll let me know. Sure.
No treating, but would you be surprised, by the way, that the state and AARP and others, seniors are 50. There's a lot of people who, I have people who come into the center who, they're probably late 80s, and they say, I don't want to be with old people.
and that's changing, because we have adult men's club, and we have a wild women's group, and that are very young.
How do the adult men and the wild women get together?
Oh, they get
brutal.
along? When they're together, it's crazy. We just had a music trivia between the two of them, competition. There was like 8 dull men and like 20 wild women. The dull men won.
Sounds like a hot row.
So people have the stereotype, seriously.
Absolutely.
It's not the bingo stereotype. Our Compassionate Cannabis Club is wonderful. So people sit there and talk about cultivating, they talk amongst themselves, they talk about what scams there are out there. And so the word of
dosing,
and
not your mom and pop senior center, right?
No,
exactly. That's we would talk to rebrand, and that was one of the nice parts about rebranding as a community center, because I would have people come in and say, true confession, like, I'm not old enough to be here. They're like 70. I'm like, but I'd like to participate. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay.
You're in a safe place.
And we talked about this before. It's like, oh, well, I'm not a member. This is a town department. If you're a senior in our towns, you're in.
Well, you used the analogy, which I liked, of the library. Because a lot of people from all over go to the Lancaster Library, and I've been to the Clinton Library, which is great, Leominster, and so on. So yes, we open doors. It's just about helping people, and help doesn't have to be. It's not just because we have a very nice over 55 development in town where the people are not in financial need. Most of them aren't eligible for benefits, but they still need, for example, the group ride to Mechanics Hall for a concert, because it's still just as important. They say money is not always about happiness. I mean, it does.
There's a video that you have to see this video. It's this man from England, and he isolates himself for, I think it was a week. And during the beginning of the week, he videotapes this whole thing about how it's, in the beginning it's okay, it's nice and quiet, whatever. By the end of the week, he can't even sleep. He doesn't know what's a day or night. He has no social interaction. He's totally...
It's like solitary confinement.
You need that community.
You need that.
Absolutely.
And people miss their family.
Well, two people in our community haven't helped seniors and this population more than you do, so I'm so grateful for all your work, and we're out of time, but I just want to say thank you for all that you've done over the past 20 months and all that you'll continue to do in the future. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in Lancaster and Clinton very
Thank you
soon.
for everything you
Thank
do
you,
for
John.
us.
Thank you for your support for seniors.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And don't be as shy. We got a pancake for you tomorrow.
No, you say pancake, and I say where. So thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next month, and I hope you enjoyed the show today.